To understand the sheer scale of Russia, you have to stop thinking of it as a country and start viewing it as a continent in its own right. It is the largest landmass on the planet, spanning 11 time zones and 2 continents. When the sun is rising over the Baltic Sea in the west, it is already setting over the volcanic peaks of Kamchatka in the east. It is a land that holds 1/5 of the world's forest cover and the deepest lake on Earth. Yet much of its story is defined not by its nature, but by the relentless weight of its history and the complexity of its modern identity. The heart of the nation is Moscow, a city that never seems to sleep and rarely slows down. It is a metropolis of nearly 13 million people, where medieval history and hyper-modernity are forced to coexist. You have the Red Square, with the iconic, colorful domes of St. Basil's Cathedral, looking more like something out of a fairy tale than a place of worship. Sitting just a stone's throw from the Kremlin, the fortified seat of power that has directed the course of global history for centuries. Moscow is a city of layers. Beneath the traffic-clogged streets lies the metro, a subterranean palace of marble and chandeliers that moves millions of people every day through what is essentially a living museum of Soviet art. But Moscow is not Russia. To find the soul of the country, you have to head east, across the Ural Mountains and into Siberia. This is a region that covers 10% of the Earth's land surface, a vast expanse of taiga and tundra that has long been a place of both exile and incredible wealth. In the winter, temperatures here can drop to -60 degrees. Yet people have built thriving cities like Novosibirsk and Irkutsk in the middle of this deep freeze. This is where you find Lake Baikal, a body of water so massive and so old that it contains 20% of the world's unfrozen fresh water. In the winter, the ice on Baikal becomes so thick and clear that you can drive a truck across it, looking down into a blue abyss that seems to go on forever. Connecting this entire, impossible geography is the Trans-Siberian Railway. It remains the longest railway line in the world, a 7-day journey from Moscow to Vladivostok. It is the steel artery that keeps the country together, passing through endless birch forests, over massive rivers like the Volga and the Yenisei, and stopping in towns where life still revolves around the arrival of the train. On this journey, you see the true diversity of the Russian people, from the Slavic heartlands to the Buddhist temples of Buryatia and the Islamic minarets of Tatarstan. As we move through 2026, Russia is a nation defined by a profound sense of tension. It is a country with a cultural legacy that shaped the world. The literature of Tolstoy and Dostoevsky, the music of Tchaikovsky, and the scientific breakthroughs that put the first human in space. Yet, it is also a country currently navigating a period of deep isolation and internal transformation. The modern Russian identity is a complex blend of great power, nostalgia and a rapid, tech-savvy adaptation to a changing world. While the headlines often focus on the geopolitical storms and the tightening of internal controls, everyday life in Russian cities continues with a stoic resilience that has been the hallmark of the people for generations. There is a concept in Russia called toska, a word that has no direct English translation but describes a deep, spiritual longing or a melancholy for something unreachable. You feel it in the vast, empty spaces of the steppe and in the haunting beauty of the white nights in St. Petersburg, where the sun barely sets during the height of summer. St. Petersburg, the Venice of the North, was built on a swamp by Peter the Great to be a window to the west. Its canals, Baroque palaces, And the massive Hermitage museums stand as a reminder of a time when Russia sought to mirror the Enlightenment of Europe. Today, that window feels more like a mirror, reflecting a country that is looking inward. From the high-tech hubs and the development of the Northern Sea route in the Arctic to the quiet, fading villages of the rural interior, Russia remains a place of deep contradictions. It is a nation that is both fiercely traditional and surprisingly innovative. A place where the weight of the past is always present, but the scale of the future is limited only by the horizon. To look at Russia is to look at a giant that refuses to be categorized. A land that is as beautiful as it is harsh, and as enduring as the stone of the Kremlin itself. Thanks for watching.